Alright, time to follow up, the questline of Lady Marwen and to learn the other major mechanic that completes the Nemesis system of the game.
I thought he was gonna dive, but then dive head first and crack his skull open.
No.
When you jump just then.
No, you fool! That's actually the poison! She's supposed to drink the medication to the right!
She really doesn't look good.
No, she doesn't. Like, has she been cursed or something?
She looks like the old lady from Pumpkinhead.
I found the little hammer. Can your flames show me why my soul was denied death?
You are the victim of a blood sacrifice.
Can the curse be broken?
We talking
Talion ponders if the curse can be broken. Him being bound to Celebrimbor.
And his followers. And claim Mordor.
I mean...
Claim Mordor? Yes. I didn't know that this was a conquest game,
yeah,
honey.
And we cannot just ask Condor for help.
You don't need them.
Oh?
Your power begets followers. Willing or otherwise.
Well, shoot, where were you when Sauron finally came back?
Dead, probably.
Yeah. Assuming that is like the, that's like the big goal.
It's more of a case of Lady Marwen telling you the power is within you or something, but that's what we need to find out.
The power is ours. The power has always been ours.
Thank you, Captain Planet.
Yeah, and I think the rain is a good indication of what's about to happen. For the time being, we need to reach a couple of prisoners, before they're executed. They should be having another artifact for us.
You know, the thing about that show, Jove, is that like the AIDS episode is one, that's probably the more famous, probably the one that has the most nonsensical dialogue for me. Like when Captain Planet is addressing the crowd, he even says something like, "Get real, people. Get the facts. The power is yours." And I'm just like, how the hell do those two sentences make sense to follow up one another? Like,
I get the idea. It's something about the power of getting smart, being smart, of doing the right thing, or gaining knowledge through information. I don't know.
I guess the idea is that it's the power of having the right knowledge and being able to act on it.
What is clear is that it should be conveyed better.
I mean, let's be honest, an environmental message show really did not have much business talking about AIDS unless, they did their research.
So yeah, we need to hurry up.
And no rat bag to help us.
We'll save them nonetheless. Don't be blinded by your emotions.
I miss them already.
The Queen told us our answers to building an orc army lie within this fortress.
If we brand those archers, we can build...
So, this introduces us to the major mechanic, again, like it complements the Nemesis system, branding. AKA mind control. We literally can mind control orcs if we actually manage to brand them.
So, I'm guessing you can only do it to like a select number at a time.
No. Well, technically for any mook, as long as you take them by stealth, like so, it's instantaneous, and they immediately follow your every command.
Wow. So in theory, you could probably take over an entire captain's army and then just turn them on that captain or war chief.
Potentially, but when it comes to captains, it's a bit more tricky. They need to be you need to operate on Pokemon logic and getting them to critical health first.
Oh, you can even brainwash captains.
I mean, when you think one step, getting to the next is logical. Now, the immediate question that can rise is like how ethical technically this is and everything, but the game actually does, both this and the sequel do bother to actually explore these themes in RPG, just blindly say, oh, it's cool, shut up.
Okay, I'm guessing war chiefs are the one mook that are like immune to this stuff.
Oh, no. Aside from story bosses and everything, and in the creatures, pretty much every orc is brandable.
Wow. So in that...
Shaha, what are you doing? You're attacking your own people.
Actually, we're not yet. We need to brand all of them and then signal the attack command.
So I'm curious, actually. Does branding a war chief ever count as, like, you know, a means of taking them out?
In a sense, but again, you'll be able to see in due time, because as you can imagine, the gimmick of this new region will be ultimately branding instead of the war chiefs.
Interesting.
So now it's time to to move.
I mean, shoot, when you get down to it, that kind of makes us a portable Sauron in a sense.
In a sense, well, it's worth noting that for gameplay purposes, the orcs that you brand in like one place, like do not stack necessarily or follow you around. The game calculates essentially depending on how many captains or war chiefs you recruited, in this sense you branded. There will be a certain number of mooks spared here and there for the entire region.
So, I'm guessing, like, once a battle is over, the orcs that you have, taken over, something will happen to them. Either that or...
Oh no, technically speaking, on a story level, they're permanently under mind control.
Really?
So it's like Force Unleashed 2.
Kinda, actually, but it's not necessarily as simple as a Jedi mind trick. Again, okay... The sequel will actually introduce a sort of a curveball potentially to that, so it's arguable. Again, the game itself potentially argues that it's not completely mind control, but it's more of a case of Celebrimbor renaming himself as the Bright Lord, essentially showing them beauty and happiness, and essentially convincing them that fighting for him is a good cause. But other, dialogue from other orcs instead suggests that it's proper actual mind control, because instead orcs which we did had a specific, attitude would instead, act out of character, and it would feel almost like they joined a cult. So, yeah. Anyway.
Any of the shore send you to our aid? The Queen warned us to wait until the end of the battle. Then the orcs spotted us. I told you, the visions always come to pass. Yes, but I told you.
If you're wondering, these Tweedledum and Tweedledee are not really important for the story, so their gimmick banter and similar appearance matters really nothing for this.
It seems to be the case with a lot of human characters, honestly.
Less so than others. Alright, time to trip some balls.
Oh, yeah, that's some good foreshadowing.
So, Celebrimbor had the vision and saw the fact that Sauron was coming for him with an army of orcs, for himself. However, being, a badass elf and everything, he manages to fend off pretty much all of them by himself because he's just that good.
Are you by any chance affiliated with a man by the name of Legolas, sir?
Well, okay, Celebrimbor is like a second age elf, so I can imagine him being very powerful.
Oh, and there's the big man himself.
The Maya.
So that I killed Sauron and...
God, can you imagine if he had actually killed Sauron?
The thing is that, remember, again, Sauron is still powerful, so yeah.
And that's the story of how you died.
No, but his family was kept in hostage and used as deterrent to force Celebrimbor to help Sauron.
I think we know from another vision that Sauron ain't gonna keep his word.
Take him to Mordor.
I love the fact that Steve Blum has like 3 lines or something the entire game, and he got the paycheck still.
Wait,
like,
that was Steve Blum
at
with Sauron?
At least you remember to roll the R like you do.
I mean, hey, give him credit. He got to voice flipping Sauron.
Alright, in the meantime, the reinforcement happens, but a conveniently placed Borgul fly SWAT basically kills most of them.
Huh.
I love when a plan comes together. And with a brutalization mechanic, we can just let the others escape.
Curious, do brainwash mooks follow you for like the duration of your journey as far as they can?
Just for missions as far as the game is concerned. You know, only the captain and the warchief remain permanently, you know, brainwashed.
So what, you can like summon them then?
Something.
Hold on, Jova. Yes, Pedro?
I realized something. Those future visions you get, they're just like the junction points in Quantum Break. Like the way they're directing the filters are very similar.
Vaseline.
Was I saying prior to that point? Oh, right. Can you summon, like, the captains or war chiefs, since you said that
I think
gameplay was
one is you can give them order through the army selection screen, like say go to this place or fight this other, you know, captain. Like he said, it's all about.
Ooh, that does not look good.
That was not her voice.
Why have you returned? You are not done yet.
Yeah, I think I saw this trick somewhere else.
Where to find this?
He has shown me.
He?
You told me what you want in return.
Only that you learn what you are truly capable of. Find an orc leader, make him a war chief, and all his soldiers will be yours.
But where am I to lead this army of mine?
Off a cliff.
Listen to me, and I will show you.
I'm starting to have second thoughts about that, hun.
Well, okay then.
Okay, yeah, and he just goes along with it anyway, not realizing, something's up here.
Well, to be fair, she cannot do much, so the best thing we can do for the time being is... Hold on.
We shall not build an army. We shall command one.
We'll need to find
as you can imagine, Celebrimbor doesn't really give two shits, you know, in commanding a bunch of orcs. He's a very pragmatic guy of the end justifies the means.
Meanwhile, Talion is definitely the guy who would sooner question this stuff.
Well, to be fair, as he himself mentioned, Talion just wants to get this over with. So while, you know, I get the idea of potentially having some internal thoughts, he's not really a big fan of orcs to begin with, so I get the idea he doesn't pose himself too many questions.
So essentially, he just wants to die. Or be able to die.
Or at the very least, you know, complete his vengeance as well. Which, as the Marvel told him, will break the curse anyway. So.
Which, to the story's credit, does at least give us room to believe the characters would possibly do some heinous acts.
Again, this is a clear game. This is pretty much a game that, you know, does not operate on the classic black and white morality, but operates on a very, you know, big puddle of shades of grey. And I think it works fine for that. It's just a matter of understanding what it does. So yeah. Again, you can brand also captains and command them to do stuff like kill someone else, pose as their bodyguards for betrayal, you know. But first we need to brand this one. And like I said, you need to operate like with Pokemon, reduce him on, you know, critical health, and then you should be able to grab him and, you know, possess him, or use the combat brand, you know, mechanic from when your combo meter turns red.
Okay, that one may have been a reused quote.
No, not really. We haven't got it yet.
I feel like we had. Maybe just something similar then.
I mean, there's technically only so many synonymous way for, you know, for her to say, I'm gonna kill you, so...
Oh yeah, that was why I figured, especially since the voice sounded similar, that this may have been a repeated quote, but...
And yeah, you can also see the fast, you want to notice the fast, you know, the fast combo. That one is also something borrowed from the Arkham games, but and again, it's also similar execution. When Batman, I forgot exactly what's the combo input, but it's the one where he throws a rapid series of punches, you know?
Yes.
In this case, you have to press circle in order to, you know, dizzy the enemy, and then just using your square combo, will allow Talion to, do this immediate flurry. If he's not interrupted, we'll also have a finisher, but we inflict a bit more damage and potentially, put the enemy down. If we're able to kill them, we will have their heads popping off. Oh no, you don't get away.
Oh.
Just hold on.
Whoop.
And now... And now we can actually use these captain we captured, technically, for infiltrate a war chief as their bodyguards, And after that, if we actually confront the war chief, their bodyguard will betray him, giving us an upper advantage.
The sad thing is that for some orcs, this behavior probably wouldn't seem too out of character.
No, like I said, their society is entirely built around conquest, and beating each other, to gain power. So while they do find it weird that they answer to someone else, they technically still, accept challenges and everything. So
and in terms of
turning, case they just want to stop Talion.
I'm more so talking about the turning on each other because they have occasionally turned on their leaders to gain that promotion.
It's more of a case where they don't really recognize. Again, they recognize that some of the habits of their companions do shift, and they find it weird. So again, that theme is a bit explored more in the next games. In the next game, where some orcs will actively question your morality choices, and again, there will be consequences for that too.
To your new captain.
So yeah, in this case, this is an example of a recruitment mission. This serves also for the captain to prove that, he needs to be worthy to be a bodyguard, but in this case, for this mission, he needs to recruit people from a bunch of masses, but some of them might not actually, agree and try to attack him. And we need to actually be this captain's guardian angel and do part of the job for him. If we feel like it, if Talion feels confident enough, that the captain can actually handle the mission by himself, we can just spectate and see the thing happening under our very eyes. So
cool.
This also applies to a couple of other missions. For example, the captain will try to actually hunt down a beast potentially, or try to run away from another, and potentially, lead them into a trap. Again, all of these are standard military missions that the orcs are able to do normally, but if you actually control a branded captain, they are the subject of that, and if they succeed of that, they will gain levels, and become more powerful, which is what you need, obviously, for them to rise up the ranks.
Alright, now just wait there.
For some enemies, it's also depends. You don't really have too much of a difference between killing them and branding them. Branding them also restores, if you forgot, also restores your elven projectiles. So it's also a good option for, for a refill. So yeah, you can also create these situations where the enemies immediately, the couple of enemies try to attack them, and they can immediately die on the spot because thanks to your focus, you slow down time to kill all of them at the same time. And the others are like, yeah, whatever, we'll follow you.
Our captain fights for us well. Through my will, he steers these Uruks of
You really can manipulate the powers that be.
And it's more of a case of Celebrimbor's powers are growing. And that's why, because, he can actually do this now.
Honestly, so when you get down to it, this is an advanced version of Orc Master Tycoon.
Although it lacks a building, construction.
Yeah. Maybe for the sequel.
Not exactly, but you can do more activities in the sequel, definitely.
Neat. Yeah, I mean, again, the system, the whole Nemesis system, which I assume is what they pretty much refer to for anything having to do with the army manipulation,
yes,
is definitely on point here.
And like I said, it's something that, for better or worse, You know, both Warner Bros. And the dev team patented actually, and they actually want to use this in the upcoming Wonder Woman video game. Which that's the thing that makes me more interested. How do you apply something this complex and randomized to something like, say, superhero fighting criminals and supervillains? Is it a case where a common crook can become, you know, supervillains with, say, electric powers, for example? Get the idea they want to go through that direction, but I'm definitely curious to see how it turns out.
I could maybe see like there being something of a redemption system, because Wonder Woman has been known to be a hero who can actually redeem her heroes.
I get the idea the Lasso of Truth might be the equivalent to this game's branding.
It's not just the Lasso of Truth. Sometimes she does go the extra mile to redeem her, you know, heroes. So I could see, like, instead of, you know, something like outright brainwashing, you know, they'll do like maybe Lasso of Truth and maybe a redemption system.
Because again, the Lasso of Truth technically does not brainwash, but compels you to tell the truth, and as such, you know, also to potentially repent for your crimes. So... So yeah, now essentially that your captain has passed this mission, we skip immediately to the part where they actually ambush the corresponding war chief. But for normal circumstances, you will have to manually command and then go to the location yourself. Again, this is more of a tutorial of streamlining you things.
Yeah, it's a shame this guy wasn't around during the actual events of Lord of the Rings, because he could have just he could have just did this to all the orcs and be like, just, you know, turn against Sauron or something.
This remember. I know it's not really, you know, in your style for your memory games, but try to remember this when the Shadow War ends. Time-wise, remember, we are in between the events of The Hobbit and properly The Lord of the Rings. So those 60 years before, you know, Bilbo departs the Shire. And again, one thing that the movies did not convey, and I'm actually thankful a recent video of Dominic Noble reminded that, is that unfortunately the movies did not convey much the fact that another 20 years pass between, you know, Gandalf actually going to search information in Minas Tirith and returning to the Shire to ask Frodo and Sam to go to start their journey. Like, a lot of time actually passes, but the movie makes it like it was a week tops.
That coward ran away.
So a lot of time is technically, you know, still missing, but the games actually find a good excuse of, you know, justifying their presence. Again, they still have original elements that make it technically this a different continuity, but they can still fit mostly with the games, with the movies works.
You can get your toast later. We got war going on.
It's Tars, not toast.
So that's how did like.
So yeah, let's command our infiltrated captain to turn on his master, and now help him defeat the war chief.
He's in for a nasty surprise.
Remember, he has our bodyguard that we haven't branded, just to give an extra bit of challenge.
Yeah. Grublick, what are you doing?
What are you behind this, I wonder? Hoping to take advantage, no doubt.
That accent. And that's Dwight Schultz, actually. I recognize his voice.
Hey, Dwight
Who,
Schultz?
sorry?
Dingledial?
Dwight Schultz. Yeah.
Or the Vulture. Although it's hilarious. Most of his career was in, you know, for the 18 series as one of the key members. Who would have guessed he would have become a prominent voice actor after that? Oh, boo-hoo.
You're attacking your own captain.
You can actually do that, a bit similar to what Big Boss can do in MGS5. But again, for the purpose of this game, you know, it's more of a case where their health just decreases a bit, but they do not break. Alright, let's spruce a bit more chaos with a Caragor. Yeah, I get it. I'm trying to do it. Almost there.
That's the weird thing. Dwight Schultz is in the more recent Crash remakes, but he doesn't Dingo Dial in any of them.
Which was weird, but yeah, I recognize that as his
And
Dingo
there you go.
Dial.
Our captain takes the place and becomes war chief himself.
Oh boy.
So again, your goal is for the other war chiefs either take them out and replace them with a captain of your choice, or brand them on their own, your choice.
But yeah, the thing was, I recognized that easily as his Dingo Dial voice.
Field of broken skulls! Come stand behind me, or let my blade meet your neck!
Queen Marwen's plan has given us great strength.
Strength should not be squandered, but wielded. The Queen will show us how.
Marwen's strategy yields great results. An army of our own to face darkness head-on.
A mirror looking upon itself, ready to be cracked.
We should return to Marwen. She will have more for us.
What is this?
Yeah, Talion at this point should have started asking more questions. No, don't flash me!
Oh shoot, she's Pokemon balling him!
That's not her voice, huh?
Okay, it looks like exactly what Agatha was doing to in Inigo Prophecy, trying to take the Inigo child into the hole.
So yeah, the fact that again Lady Marwen also looking very old and now her voice is a bit more booming should give you a clue what's really going on.
Possessed and cursed.
But by whom? We already know this kind of thing, Drove, huh?
Oh boy.
Getting a fatal error. I'm going to kill him.
So yeah, breaking the staff should have done the trick.
Hey look, the light even came back.
And she returns young. That's pretty much your confirmation. She was possessed by Saruman.
Just like in the movie when that happened to Theoden.
King Theoden, yes.
That is a nice bit of continuity.
But yeah, it also showcased the fact that Saruman still had already eyes on Mordor, just, even before he revealed his betrayal and had his own plans.
Yep, he was actually planning to backstab Sauron. Part of me wonders if Sauron always knew Saruman was planning that step and had, a ton of backup plans.
Well, technically, it's never explained what or showcased what Sauron was feeling. Gandalf's words towards Saruman resonates with pretty much the outcome that you would think of. It basically said that Sauron is very egotistical and does not, share power. So it was pretty much
I was gonna say,
case that after, conquering Middle-earth, Sauron will have disposed of Saruman.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Saruman was really gullible.
Well, given how he goes out in the films, yeah, Saruman was a guy...
In the extended edition waves.
Yeah.
Let me put it like this. Oh yeah, right, in the original version, he kind of just backs off.
It doesn't show up at all. His last line is actually halfway through the two towers when it comes to the theatrical versions.
Let me put it like this. Saruman is a guy who thought he was the big cheese and all that, but in reality, he was nothing but a rat in the grand scheme of it. No offense, Tio.
Saruman is one of the Istari. With the power of the ring, he could have built a great army to challenge the Dark
Thank God that will never happen.
You know what this implies, though? That Gandalf didn't even need to come back as a white wizard to break the king from Saruman's control. He probably just had to break the crown on the king's head or something.
Well, he didn't knew. Again, the books also do mention the fact that Gandalf had visited Theoden before, during the time that he was actually, roaming around those 20 years. But again, the movies do not even explain. That's how he actually, befriended Shadowfax, his horse. Anyway, now we can help Lithariel in her war in the meantime before both her and her mother depart.
I have no choice, Talion. I need my mother's elixir.
Even the stranger says this is a fool's errand.
I know who she reminds you of, Talion. She is of this
Oh my God!
Yeah,
really? Celebrimbor is super. He doesn't have the minimal sense of tact. He is right. Talion, she's not your wife. You know, it's not even a thing like Talion is infatuated by her. It's more of a, this woman is falling off a bridge, or that reminds me of Gwen Stacy effect from Spider-Man. It's literally just that.
If I may, what's even the connection that, you know, she reminds him of his wife, outside of her being a woman? Like, granted, this is probably due to the fact that we didn't really get to see much of his wife, but I don't recall her being a badass warrior. And again, no offense to the woman, I'm sure she was.
She's essentially the military commander of the humans in this region.
Is that what his wife was?
Well, no, but you know, I guess it's also the fact that you know he's still traumatized by the events of Blackgate.
I don't know. Like, I guess
it's still sloppy. I think it's a good time to mention about who the writer of this was. Just one, Christian Cantamessa. Which was apparently a level designer for GTA San Andreas. Okay.
Huh.
Also one of the co-writer of Red Dead Redemption.
Oh, I like that game, so...
Okay, apparently his first role was literally, what does they get? The Donald Duck going quackers, apparently.
Wow.
Interesting to know.
Okay, so
also,
the guy is...
Sorry, go on.
So the guy has kind of been all over the place.
But it was mostly a level design. His first major writing happened with the Manhunt duology, which interesting considering everything. Did some additional writing for the 2012 Forza Horizon video game. Then there was this. Then he did some additional story for Sonic Boom: Rise of Lyric. Okay. Then
awesome.
For the crew, a story consultant for Rise of a Tomb Raider, and his last major work, writing-wise, was writing for the sequel of this game. So since 2017, he really had not much work, to be honest.
Weird. Like, is the writing of the sequel bad in any way?
Not really, but again, like I said, it's not super stellar, and even the one of this game, as you yourself just noticed, Jova feels very sloppy in places.
Yeah. Like I said, I think the best way to describe the story is, it is very simple. It's got the basics, you know, wife and son dead, want revenge, oh, this woman reminds me of my wife. I think the issue I have is that they kind of forget to go a few extra steps. Like, the game does not really explain why this woman reminds him of his wife. Like, as far as we know, they have nothing in common except for the fact that they're both women.
Mm-hmm.
It's just my 2 cents. Like, honestly, if anything, I feel like...
And I can tell you already as a spoiler, in the next game, Talion prevalently works with another girl, but at no point he has a moment like this where, oh, she reminds me of my wife.
And the thing is, the woman doesn't even look like his wife. Like, if anything, I feel like Marwyn looked closer to his wife. Obviously in her younger state, but, you know, still. If anything, maybe have Marwyn be the one who reminds him of his wife, and he's acting to save her. The closest I can tell you in terms of reminding of a situation would be, again, the fact that she's fighting a war for, you know, for this, but he's afraid she's gonna get brutalized or a soldier's killed in front of her or something, and that's why he wants to give a hand. But again, Celebrimbor's words made it sound more like he was infatuated, which I don't really think it's the case, but Talion did not really deny it too much either. That is another thing of a story. There is a lot of talk over show with Celebrimbor.
Oh, that's his entire shtick, you know. Again, it's almost on a visual representation, the fact that he's supposed to be sharing the body with Talion, but in cutscene you see him popping up in a case of he was resting over a wall or anything. It's more of a case of how Talion is visualizing him and having a discussion with him, but in reality, he's just sharing the same body, nothing more.
Oh yeah, kind of, funnily enough, like Joker and Batman in Arkham Knight.
A bit, I guess. Although it's a case where, again, Celebrimbor is, you know, an actual tangible thing instead of just being, you know, a DID case.
Oh, man.
Again, all in due time, Jova. Anyway, there you go. Now, for this particular mission, it's actually easy. We just needed to, you know, clear all the major targets without figuring it out. But, there, like I mentioned, in missions like this, a captain can just pop up out of nowhere without even knowing it. And it's not even predicted.
I'm gonna enjoy killing you so much.
I bet you will.
What was that scream?
Was that supposed to be like some psychotic laughter?
I suppose.
Embrace the light.
Just accept the light. This is a good thing, we swear.
And like just like that, instantaneously. Again, because you know we're very low
Did you
health.
find what you needed?
Yes. Take this to the Queen immediately.
I doubt any medicine of men will cure her, Queen.
Let's hope that it heals your mother.
We found this message. Orc leaders plan a gathering by the fishing village. We can prepare an ambush. I owe you a great thanks.
Glad to be of assistance.
Maybe,
We're lucky
with
to have
acts of
you.
kindness like this, Talion can realize that he doesn't need revenge, he just needs to help heal the land.
Well, I mustn't keep you.
Celebrimbor is that kind of your neighbor that
Everyone's
just
precious.
knocks you on the door when you're trying to have a good time.
I know, right? Like, seriously, he's got some drive-by commentary and a half.
So yeah, only one more mission attached to Litariel,
It's reflected in the eyes of her people with respect rather than fear.
which is instead what we are doing, Celebrimbor, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Agree. It's always the preserve. Or the archers. Or shields.
So yeah, unfortunately, that mission that she was talking about at the fishing hamlet kinda went south, and now we have to save the situation.
Such a shame.
And the tower founder,
Know nothing.
one of the other lieutenants of the hand.
Shoot.
Yeah, fuck you.
When you're done
From
with her,
which Hellraiser movie did you came out from?
I know, right?
Probably one of the direct-to-video ones.
Walker can find her.
I don't like where this is going.
Tell us where he's hiding and we'll kill you quick.
Damn it.
Now we kill you slowly, just how I like it.
Well, she tried.
Yeah, like I said, being also a game made in 2014, this also commits to the fact of presenting you, you know, the strong independent girl who needs no one to save her, only to be a damsel in distress in the final act. So.
Okay, okay.
Don't
okay.
you just love when that happens?
Okay. Let's be fair. I feel like this is a better portrayed example of it because she still took down several of those guys. It's
No, like I
just
said, it's more of a thing that is still a matter of writing at the, you know, of the time this was made. Again, this was the passage of, you know, consoles generation between the PS3, Xbox 360 and this was also a passage in terms of writing in video games and, you know, in all that it encompassed. So again, it was more of a case where things were forming out and were not properly defined.
like,
So this was more of an attempt.
like to give him credit, the game didn't really go out of its way to say, "Oh, she's strong and she don't need no man," because no, she does still, you know, have her army for the most part to help, and she's relatively a good leader. So I'd say, at the very least, this is like the sort of strong, independent female character that, you know, actually does it instead of just saying it like a lot of annoying stuff does.
Although, yeah, I mean, the Lord of the Rings films themselves
Yeah,
are kind
again,
of
I was
guilty of
about to
that.
mention, it's still technically better than what happened to Elwyn. So I get also the idea that both this and the sequel wanted to actually push a bit back the more or the older, you know, stigmas that the original source material
Yeah,
had.
I mean,
I can get
Theoden's
that.
daughter managed to overcome that, but Arwen, yeah, she helps Frodo out, but then just disappears.
And again,
And-
it wasn't even, and that role wasn't even supposed to be hers anyway.
Maybe if we make her bleed a little, she'll start talking. Down on her knees.
So yeah, we kind of need to, act now.
Is there like a
No timer though.
Yeah, I was about to say...
because we reached the place, but it's similar to a situation that can happen. The execution. If you just stand there and watch, a captain will kill all these victims, including potential another captain. After a while, without any timer. But you can actually hear that happening. Via their dialogue, say, "Oh, I'm gonna enjoy you killing right now," and then he does it. And this is something similar to that.
I noticed also that there's a health icon over her, so I assume that there's...
Well, that's because the mission doesn't just end with killing their captors. Now we literally need to drag her up and bring her to safety.
Escort missions.
And even of the worst possible kind. Your escortee is literally, unfortunately, a wait because unfortunately she was injured by this, and once in a while we just need to drop her out and defend her by the attacking forces.
Oh,
Again,
why do games still do this?
And like I said, look at that, you're moving slow as molasses.
You see,
for a game that
Those
normally for a game that normally acts fast-paced, this is, I get the idea of wanting to have variety, but this ain't it, Chief.
It was bad when GoldenEye did it, and that was back in 1997. This is 2014.
A lot of games stupidly do this because, immersion and all that. That is like the most common excuse I've seen for that stuff.
But anyway, to continue a bit on what we said before, and also to address what Liv was about to say, again, originally Arwen was supposed to be part of the reinforcement of the elves that arrived at the Battle of Helm's Deep, but because of early test screenings, she was actually, switching instead with Haldir, which includes his raging. Thanks, I guess. But the problem behind that is that the battle, there weren't supposed to be elves to begin with, and I don't understand how Jackson, from the complaining that said that it wasn't book accurate, got that we don't like the fact that there is a specific elf captain instead of another, instead of, we don't want no elves in this fight.
So it was more of an elf thing than a gender thing, really.
Exactly. It's more, again, because that's also part of the themes. The theme of the Lord of the Rings, as explained also by Adron, is the idea that men are weak, but it's their moment to shine, because they are the ones that now they have to rise up for incoming evil, because the other races of Middle-earth are too weak to actually intervene. So, while they try to make a connection to the Second Age by saying, oh, there was once an alliance and we're doing this again, the elves at the Battle of Helm's Deep just feels, detracting from that. This also does not help by the fact that in the attacking forces, in the book actually, there was supposed to be instead also other, the Dunlandians, the more barbaric people that were living in Rohan, the one that Sauron recruited earlier, in order to give a bit of grey area for having humans by other humans, which culminated in one of my favorite moments, which is Aragorn standing on the top of the gate's walls, branding the sword Anduril, which he was supposed to have already at that point, telling how big his dick is, and at that point all the Dunlandians would have just left the battlefield and only the Uruk fight. But no, again, instead we need Haldir being free and Aragorn feeling sad about it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, honestly, my main problem is that they replaced Elwyn with some really bland, boring, blank slate.
I will say, it sounds like we would have had issues too if Elwyn had been there anyway.
Elwyn, yes. But again, as much as I really love the trilogy, the Two Towers still remains the weakest link to me, partly also for this reason.
Which is funny, isn't Two Towers like the most popular one of the
Yeah, we already went through that when we commented on the movies. Yes, Jova?
I was about to say, isn't Two Towers like the most popular of the movies?
Technically, yes.
Though, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of that is attributed to Gollum.
To stop the bleeding.
No. Why did you come back to save me?
Yes, why did you?
A wife.
Also with the somber piano.
Of course, well, gotta include the piano for the sad moments.
With everyone I ever knew.
Stay with us. My mother can help you.
I don't belong here.
Because you're undead?
But he's still thinking of the long term, the idea that after the Black Hand is dead, the Talion can just rest in peace.
Lady Copa,
I did like that earlier bit also when they talked about vengeance, and now she mentions that, oh, sure, yeah, I technically get vengeance, but I don't really fight for that.
It's part of the themes of the game. Again, don't worry, we'll see both her and Lady Marwen one more time before the game is over, so don't worry about them actually exiting the game just yet.
Again, I think the best way to describe the plot is it's very rudimentary, but not necessarily bad, per se.
It's just things happen and
yeah,
things
and
happen. You're out for
again,
revenge.
it operates on old Zelda school of logic, where the protagonist is more of a spectator and the events are happening around them. Before we end the part, might as well, since you actually, you have seen these in different parts as well. What do you think of these plot elements, Pedro?
Much like what Jova said, like it seems very functional. Like the best thing I can say about the plot is that it's functional. It works on a basic level, like you said, but at the same time, it doesn't do anything particularly noteworthy. It feels like your standard
open
high
world
fantasy storyline.
Okay.
It's like I said.
All right.
You come for the story, you stay for the Nemesis system.
Yeah, again, it's more what crude journalists will define as a theme park. But I have good news for you. Last part is much less sober and less, mind screwy, and instead is actually more fun because it's time to find Thorvin and the dwarf and learning from him the fine art of hunting. So see you for that.
See ya.